Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here with a quick update in the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion case. If you guys remember, back in July 2020, following a party at the home of Kylie Jenner, there was an incident which left Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, injured with what she said she was shot in her foot. Based on the pictures that she showed, it looked like gun fragments. The gun was fired, the bullets hit the ground and then shattered, and the fragments went into her foot. But nonetheless, she said she was shot, and she claimed that rapper singer Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, was the one who shot her. And Tory was initially arrested, I believe, for having an unregistered firearm, and I believe he already was had a conviction, so he wasn't allowed to have a gun or something like that. Anyway, he was charged at the point for having this gun in the vehicle, and then later on in October of last year was when the charges were filed. Tory was formally charged on October 8th, 2020. With one count of assault using a semi-automatic firearm and having personally inflicted great bodily injury. He was also charged with one count of carrying a concealed, loaded, and unregistered gun in a vehicle. And in my opinion, this was one of those cases where you have someone who's a district attorney or state attorney, and they're trying to win re-election. And so there's been this recurring theme where people are picking up on these celebrity incidents and filing charges in hopes of boosting their ratings in their re-election bid. And so the district attorney at the time, whose name was Jackie Lacey, she was the first woman and black person to hold the office of district attorney in Los Angeles County, and she was a career prosecutor. She decided to go ahead and indict Tory Lanez for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. And so many of us have been wondering, like, what is going on with this case? Because there was some back and forth online. Then a gag order was entered against Tory, and people were saying, well, if Megan can get on live and talk about what happened that night, why can't Tory do the same? Then there was a protection order that was put in place where he is not allowed to be within 100 feet of Megan. He was invited to perform with the baby at a concert, and Megan Thee Stallion was also on the lineup for that concert. And so Tory had to put up an additional bond, and it was a significant amount of money, but he had to put up an additional bond for violating the protective order and being, in the same presence of Megan Thee Stallion. Even though there was no interaction between the two, somebody made it an issue, and so this took place. Well, today there was a preliminary hearing because the case is finally moving forward, and a judge ruled that Tory Lanez, that there is significant information to suggest that Tory may have shot Megan, and therefore he will go on trial for this incident. And he set a hearing for January 13th, which is a month from now. I'm not sure if that is the date of the hearing or if that is just going to be another preliminary hearing, because before cases go to trial, the lawyers get to file motions where they can get evidence stricken from the record. They can file motions to have the charges dismissed, motions to have certain evidence not entered, motions to have certain people testify. So there's a lot of things that take place before a case actually goes to trial. So I'm not sure if the January 13th is the start of those motions being filed, and then the judge will ultimately set a court date or if he's saying that this is the court date, because a lot of people may not know that there have been conference calls about this case taking place like monthly or every other month since these charges were filed. So it's not like they filed the charges, arrested Tory, gave him bail, and then this is the first time they're getting together. No, there have been like monthly status calls that only lasted a couple of minutes, basically, where they check in, make sure everything is okay. So in any event, next hearing is January 13th of 2022. And then let's go ahead and talk about what happened at the hearing today, because there are some tidbits that are leaking out via the media for people that were actually there, reporters that were in the courtroom as this was taking place. And so this is an article from Complex, but it's basically looking like an article that was taken off the wire, which means that no matter what blog publication you pull up, you're probably going to read the same article verbatim, with the exception of the outlet dropping their title or their name into it. So anyway, you don't have to go searching, because this is basically what everybody is saying. And so it says a detective has testified that Tory Lanez yelled "dance bitch" as he allegedly fired the gun at Megan Thee Stallion's feet in July 2020. During a preliminary hearing in the musician's felony assault case, where Lanez is accused of shooting Megan in the feet following a party in Los Angeles, LAPD Detective Ryan Stogner testified based on interviews conducted with Megan. And keep in mind that this is what Megan is saying happened. This isn't factual information. This is just from her interviews with this detective. He told the officer that Tory yelled "dance bitch" as he was shooting her. While the statement Lanez allegedly made to Megan has previously been covered, Stogner shared that Meg was half in and half out of the vehicle when the Canadian rapper reportedly shot towards her feet. So it sounds to me like he was reaching, I'm trying to get the visual on that, like she was getting out of the vehicle and he shot at her, which kind of leads to the notion that if he was shooting at her as she was exiting the vehicle, then chances are that the bullet actually hit the ground and the fragments shattered and went into her foot. Because I don't understand how she could be getting out of the vehicle and he shoots her in the feet. You guys get what I'm saying? Because it seemed like her feet would not have been in his view as she was exiting the vehicle. But anyway, Megan immediately felt pain to her feet, observed blood, fell to the ground, and then crawled to an adjacent driveway of a residence. She described her injuries as bleeding profusely, Stogner testified. The detective continued, saying that Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, apologized for doing it and offered her money and begged her to please not say anything, and made a reference to the fact he was already on probation and he begged her not to say anything. And then I just want to remind you guys once again, this is not information that the detective knows firsthand. This is information that Megan gave to the detective, a statement that she gave to the detective when he interviewed her. So as reported by James Quayle of the Los Angeles Times, Tory's attorney Sean Hawley seemed to be hinting that someone other than Tory, and this other someone is a friend of Megan Thee Stallion, could have shot the gun. During the hearing, Hawley asked Stogner if he asked Megan how much she had to drink that day, and said that alcohol can impair a person's perception and their ability to recall what actually happened. Hawley also asked Stogner if he knew if Meg invited Tory to a party at Kylie Jenner's house before the incident. Now, it will be interesting to find out if there were any toxicology tests done on everybody in the vehicle. Whether Meg had a toxicology test done to show if she was impaired, since he's bringing this up, and whether or not Tory was impaired. But we know they were both drinking because there was video footage of them in the pool at Kylie's house before all of this allegedly took place. So a source confirmed to Complex that an LAPD detective testified during the hearing about a jailhouse phone call Tory had with Megan's friend, or then friend, Kelsey Nicole, in which Tory apologized for shooting Megan. The call was recorded. Dylan shared that Holly claimed another woman in the vehicle, who was a former assistant of Meg's, had a romantic interest in Tory, and that she became jealous and claimed the Houston rapper backdoored her. And when they say Houston rapper, they're talking about Meg Thee Stallion. Holly reportedly claimed Tory told police he was, quote, trying to protect my girl, end quote. And then the judge, Keith Bourgeon, found probable cause to send Lanez to trial and ordered him to return to court on January 13th, according to Nancy Dillon of Rolling Stone, who also confirmed, and it was also confirmed by other outlets. The reporter also noted that LAPD officer Sandra Cabral spoke at the hearing, sharing that a gun found under Tory's seat in the car was warm to the touch, and suggested that the firearm had recently been used. So also during Tuesday's hearing, per Quayle, when a detective testified about Lanez acting apologetic to one of Megan's friends on the phone, Tory yelled at the investigator, "How about you tell me what I was apologizing for, bro? That don't make no sense." And I had to go to several different reports on this part of the story to figure out if he was actually doing this in court. So I guess he had this outburst during the hearing when they were talking about this conversation between Tory and the friend Kelsey. So Tory faces a maximum sentence of 22 years and 8 months in state prison, according to CBS, if he's convicted as charged. Weeks after the incident, Megan took to Instagram Live to explain her recollection of the July 2020 night, alleging for the first time that Tory shot her. In an attempt to clear up internet rumors, she alleged that he fired at her as she was attempting to leave the vehicle, and that he got his publicist and his people going to these blogs, Line and SHIT. So it is going to be interesting to figure out, or to learn, what actually happened, and will we actually figure out what happened when this case goes to trial, because I don't think there's any video, there's no recordings. Tory is adamantly denying that he shot Megan. Megan is adamant that he was the one that shot her. We don't know how intoxicated these people were following this party. We don't know if somebody else in the vehicle shot Megan and that they thought that the whole thing was just going to go away. I actually believe that Rock Nation actually pushed Megan to file these charges and to get this DA to indict Tory Lanez as part of, promotion of Megan Thee Stallion. And so maybe Megan doesn't know who shot her. Maybe she really thinks it was Tory. If the two of them were arguing and she was so angry that she was getting out of the car, she may believe that it was Tory that shot her. And then Tory may be protecting whoever it was that shot her. And that's why he hasn't come forward, because he didn't think he was actually going to get arrested in the case. But we shall soon find out exactly what happened in this case, as it is nearing an official criminal trial. And so we'll just have to wait and see. I expect a couple of more hearings and a little more information to roll out as we near whatever trial date is going to be set. So guys, that's it for me. Go ahead, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.